Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, continuing the Dark Tranquillity discography, and today we're talking about The Gallery, the band's second album, released on November 27th, 1995, through Records. Um, Now, of course, this album is now 35 years old. I would have talked about the anniversary, which is actually on the 27th, but that's actually before their new album, which comes out the 20th, I believe. But anyway, the band's second album. And with this album is they had a little bit of a lineup change. Anders Frieden, who was their original vocalist, had left to join In Flames, and Michael Stan, who was their rhythm guitarist, actually is now their lead vocalist, and filling in the rhythm guitar spot is Frederick Johansson, if I'm not mistaken. And it's funny because, like I mentioned in my Skydancer review yesterday, of course, Mikkel was the singer on In Flames' first album, Lunar Strain, and Anders Frieden was the first vocalist off Skydancer. They switched, which is kind of funny. But this album, it still continues with, has the same vibe as Skydancer, but I just feel like with Mikkel compared to Anders, I feel like his voice is has a lot more rasp to it, more power to it than Anders has. And honestly, with this album is probably one of my favorite Dark Tranquillity albums, and this album right here is considered to be a classic album in the Gothenburg scene, along with like Slaughter of the Soul by At the Gates and In Flames Digesta Race, which has like dual guitar leads, growl vocals, and acoustic like sections within the genre. And it's really great album, like, ugh. And I feel like production wise it's amazing. Let's just talk about just like Mikkel's vocals. I just think is really great, and just the guitar work from Nicholas and Frederick are great. The bass playing from Martin is superb, and Anders Yvarp's drumming pretty much is superb. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is "Punish My Heaven," which opens up with a very fast melodic riff and has some harmonized guitars that creates a great vibe as the song unwinds. And then Mikkel's vocals comes in. It's just raspy and desperate, and it has so much emotion to it, especially in the chorus. And it has another great riff, and the drumming is fast, and it just keeps the tempo very well. Well, we move on to Silence and the Ferment withdrew. Who as now this song is a pretty shorter song. It's very emotional. It's really well thought out, and it conveys a lot during the whole short time of the song. And the riff is simple and effective, and the vocals are the highlight of the song. It begins slower and more depressing, with sort of like whispered lines also thrown in. Eden Spring. Now this song sort of begins slowly with cymbals and a slow guitar chord just getting ready, and then the rest of the instruments pick up the pace, and then Mikkel unleashes a drawn out scream and then gets right into the verses. And this is a good point to also mention the lyrics and pretty much how I feel like it sets Dark Tranquillity apart from all the other melodic death metal bands. And I feel like they write some of the most dark, but not in like the black metal type way lyrics I've ever seen. It's just really sad, and it gives the music a lot of like atmosphere, a lot of depth to it, which sets it apart from anything I've ever heard. And just some awesome writing from the band. And I love how this sort of like a piano comes in right in the middle. It's not like overbearing or electronic sounding. It's just straightforward piano, and it kind of like would foreshadow something from like later albums like Projector or Haven. The dividing line. Now this song begins with a sweet riff, and it's pretty slower pace, and the chorus is great, and the riff in the beginning comes back and before another one takes over, and the blend just seems seamlessly, but it also throws in a lot of variety that keeps you pretty much entertained, and it's just a really amazing to listen to this album. And then the end of the song is just so fast, and at this point you're really into the song, and before you know it, it just ends quite abruptly. And then we go into the next song, which is the title track of the album, the Gallery, which starts off with a slow, clean melody before just a crushingly heavy but melodic riff comes in. And then aggressive drumming is pretty much executed perfectly, and the transitions between heavy and melodic really just add to the song. I just really love how the two really just go hand in hand with each other. And there's also like a slow set section where the guitar sort of like holds a melody, and then some female vocals come across it, creating a very kind of like melancholic atmosphere. And I feel like Mikael's vocals add a lot of great deal, and just like the contrast between the beauty of the female vocals and then Michael's harsh vocals. Listen, I feel like this song is really just well written in it, with every melody and transition bringing it to a whole new level. Next song is called The One Brooding Warding. Now this picks up the mood a bit from the last song, which some very cool guitars at the intro, then the vocals come in and it's just fast and it just goes along with the beat. And this is pretty much classic Dark Tranquillity right here. Great song. Midway through Infinity, and this is one of the faster paced songs on the gallery. Well, with a not too melodic intro, but he just gets right to the vocals, and Mikael showing off his unique kind of like raspy death voice. Next song is the album is called Live. I can never pronounce it. This is a really good kind of like ballad. It's very melancholic, and the guitar intro is perfect in creating an atmosphere before the heaviness kicks in, and then Mikael's vocals come in full of just despair and anguish, and the melodies are great and they complement the vocals as well. And then Mikael sings I don't know, it just sometime over and over, and then just a rushed chord effect, which just shows the band's songwriting, and the emotion conveyed just pretty much shows what a great band Dark Tranquillity really are. Next song is The Emptiness From Which I Fed. Now this is another great track, and it has everything that you could want in a song. The pace is fast, the guitars are melodic, and the vocals are just really up there. And there's a lot of riff changes here as well. Well, with like Michael screaming his heart out, man, you can sort of like get through like a few spoken lines in the middle, and there's some lines of like acoustic guitar interlude in the bridge, with sort of like electric guitars sort of like fading in and out. Now it's returning the vocals in, and the last few minutes of the song are just fast and relentlessly, ending with one of my favorite riffs on the CD, even though the riff pretty much lasts like 20 seconds. Then the next two songs are pretty much go hand in hand with each other, which is Mine and the Grandeur, which is like a little acoustic guitar interlude, and I love how there's like timpanis used to add to atmosphere, and that leads it to the last song in the album, which is called Of Melancholy Burning. Now this song is kind of similar to the title track, The Gallery. Now female vocals are used again here, and it's to great effect, and it sort of like builds like a haunting atmosphere, bringing like a huge climax. And I love the contrast between the female vocals and Mikael's are excellent, especially when the female just holds a high note while Mikael screams in unison, which is awesome. And Anders Ivar just shows his excellent drumming throughout this song, and just providing a rhythm. And there's like another transition near the end where the song speeds up and Mikael's vocals are great again, and I'm following a great lead, and then the album ends with a quick outro on acoustic guitar. Now overall, The Gallery by Dark Tranquillity is pretty much a go-to when it comes to like the Gothenburg sound or just melodic death metal in general. As far as to give this album a score, I'm going to give The Gallery by Dark Tranquillity a solid 10 out of 10, and it still holds up 35 years later. So yeah, that's my review of the album, guys. Thank you guys for watching this. I'll see you all in the next video, and as always, keep it metal.